Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Voluntary assisted dying laws are on the cusp of passing Tasmania's lower house of Parliament tonight. For more now, we're joined live by reporter Sean McComish at Parliament House. Good evening to you, Sean. Now, where is the bill at this evening?
Well, good evening, Kim. Lower House MPs are still locked in debate tonight as the legislation edges closer and closer to being passed. This morning they had cleared through 117 amendments added to the landmark proposal, that number reaching 134 by this evening. A key issue being considered today is how telehealth would be used in voluntary assisted dying, but it's still been a very emotional and at times heated debate.
Hope the bill does not pass, but if it does, it should be watertight, safe as possible, and they are my remarks. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
If you are concerned about the well-being of older Tasmanians, you'll speak up about the appalling state of aged care in this country.
MPs are also dealing with 13 postponed amendments, which means the debate will probably go late into the night. If the bill is passed tonight, it will go back to the upper house, where members there will vote on it once again. They're expected to meet on March 23. Kim?
Well, support for the Tasmanian Liberal Party has remained firm in the latest round of EMRS polling released today. Support for the Liberals remained at 52%, mirroring the most recent results in November last year. Support for Labor rose 2 points to 27%, while the Greens rose slightly to 14%. Peter GUTWEIN remained ahead of Rebecca White as the preferred Premier, with 61% of the vote. A report into Elwick Racecourse's woes, which led to race meetings being cancelled, has pointed the finger at overuse of the new track and poor maintenance. Strict limits will be imposed on trials and the number of race meetings to repair the damaged surface.
Elwick's $12.5 million revamp has been savaged. The question now is, can it be salvaged?
Elwick is a new and immature track, and it must be nurtured and looked after over the next 2 to 3 years.
Former Victoria Racing Club CEO Dale Monteith led the inquiry into the track. He says rest is the best remedy, recommending the inside of the track be reserved just for race meetings, while trial should only take place on the outside of the back straight for at least the next 12 months.
So that the home straight where the action occurs and the horses are let down and they're meant to accelerate and win races, that is a racing surface.
He recommends meets should be capped at 20 each year for the next 2 years before lifting to 25. An annual 6-week break from using the track is also suggested, plus changes to maintenance.
The stewards need to understand a bit more about maintenance of tracks as well, so that they will call out something they see as being inferior or not appropriate.
The state government says it will take all 29 recommendations on board and heads won't roll.
There's no recommendations in the report for anyone to lose their job.
Tas Racing says it has already implemented some of the recommendations. Now it's up to whether those who use the track feel as confident.
The time there's not any comments in the paper about the track performing or not performing means that it is actually performing, that people are happy with it.
Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmanian News.
A Sandy Bay woman has today pleaded not guilty to allegedly taking hundreds of thousands of dollars from a Bellerive vet clinic. Rachel Naomi Perry facing nearly 500 computer-related fraud charges and 1 count of using a computer with intent to defraud in Hobart Magistrates Court. It's alleged she used online banking to transfer money from Tasmanian Veterinary Services into her own accounts between 2017 and 2019. The 48-year-old is set to appear in the Supreme Court in June. A police officer from the north has been suspended from duty after being charged with multiple offences. They're alleged to have occurred during and after an incident in Unum while the officer was off duty in August last year. The 50-year-old has been charged with assault and perverting the course of justice. He's set to face the Launceston Magistrates Court in May. Tasmanian Independent MP Meg Webb is calling for a review of workplace culture in Tasmania's Parliament. The Independent says all sides of politics need to establish if harassment or wrongdoing has occurred.
I haven't taken this action because I've been aware of any particular issues. I think it's an opportunity for us to be really positive and proactive and get ahead of any issues and improve things in a way that makes our parliament more safe for staff.
I think we should have an independent review of the practices and procedures that we adopt in this place and in our workplaces.
Labor and the Greens also spoke passionately today on sexism and rape culture still confronting women. Rental properties advertised as not suitable for children have prompted renewed calls to tackle discrimination in housing. The Tenants Union is reminding potential landlords it's illegal to discriminate on the basis of an applicant having children.
Not suitable for children. These rental advertisements found on Northwest notice boards don't give a lot of hope to families in dire need of housing.
Ensuring that you will not consider those families because they have children is an extra hurdle for those people to get over.
The Tenants Union say advertisements like this, implying families will be counted out early, are far too common.
Unfortunately, we get calls all the time from tenants who believe that they are being discriminated against. Reasons could be that they have children.
Tasmania's Anti-Discrimination Act makes it unlawful to discriminate for housing on the basis of family responsibilities. Equal Opportunity Tasmania says that everyone has a right to housing, and this situation is no different to discriminating on the basis of race or gender.
It is natural that certain properties are going to be suitable for different family configurations, whether it be an unfenced yard or steep stairs.
The Landlords Association says that finding the perfect tenant for a home doesn't amount to discrimination.
The most important thing for a landlord is a happy and secure tenancy. So getting the match right between people and property is a huge part of that.
The private sector squeeze has been made worse by a lack of social housing. With 3,600 applicants on the public waiting list, industry voices say urgent solutions are needed to ease the state's housing woes. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Special tributes and events are underway for Tasmanian women in the lead up to a global day of celebration and recognition. Local women sharing history, struggles and achievements through art and storytelling.
Hidden around the corner on a busy street, quirky and colourful characters come to life. This mural stretching to the top of the building, a major milestone for the Hobart artist.
This is like a huge opportunity for me. I've never painted anything this size before. It's awesome to have exposure.
Titled Everyone is Beautiful, the artwork exploring diverse bodies, ages and beauty ideals, painted in honour of International Women's Day.
All shapes and sizes, embracing them, different colours, ages, and saying that it's all beautiful no matter what. They've got arm hair, fat rolls, trying to show that off without a sexualised stigma.
In the lead up to a global day of acknowledgement of women's achievements in history, stories of locals who shaped Tasmania are on offer over the weekend through limited guided tours, exploring individuals from historical Aboriginal elders to convict and modern day women.
We've got movie stars, we've got shopkeepers, brothel keepers, and then we've got the stories of the really ordinary women working at the jam factory over here, and some of the political struggles that women have had to get their voices heard.
And with special events on the table for Monday, local charity the Clifford Craig Foundation today hosting an early luncheon, celebrating and supporting local essential service women on the front line.
It's really important to get out and make sure that you do provide that mentoring and support to others so that they don't necessarily have to face the barriers that I did.
Ruby COMMANE, 7 Tasmania News.
The deadline for submissions in a parliamentary inquiry into disability services has been extended until April. The inquiry will examine how Tasmania is supporting people with a disability as part of its NDIS responsibilities. It will also look at long-term costs and support for those not eligible for the NDIS.
Fan favourite Peter Siddle is back in the Tasmanian Tiger squad after recovering from a thumb injury caused in the Big Bash. The side flew out this morning for tomorrow's Sheffield Shield clash against Victoria. Siddle still isn't 100%, but the coach says he'll have no troubles with his core role.
He'll still be a little bit restricted with the batting and fielding, but he is able to bat and field, no restrictions from a bowling perspective.
A handful of players in the squad have never played on the MCG. Caleb Jewell managed a ton against Queensland in the last Shield clash, something he hopes to replicate against the Vics.
Definitely crossed my mind over the last couple of days. Certainly something on the bucket list, that's for sure.
Tasmania is still searching for its first win in the competition this season. That is true. Tasmanian Harry Bouchier is through to the doubles semi-final of the St Petersburg Challenger in Russia. Partnering with Dutchman Mark Vervoet, the pair claimed the first set 6-7 before the match was forced into a tiebreak when the tables turned in the second. Bouchier held on to advance to tonight's semi. He crashed out of the singles tournament after a 6-4, 6-2 loss. Australia's big wave surfers are turning their attention to Tasmania's Shipstern Bluff. The surfing hotspot will host the Red Bull Cape Fear event, with organisers saying it's the perfect location.
It's one of the craziest waves on the planet. It's like 30 Olympic-sized swimming pools full of water, crushing down on a shallow reef, breaking within 10 metres of a massive cliff face.
Starting from March 15, the competition will be called at any time depending on the swell, with surfers racing to the location in 48 hours. And Tasmania's all-star mile hope Still a Star has shown good form in a practice run at Mowbray last night. She lined up in an exhibition race against Sherborne Renegade, cruising home first in the one-on-one. There's just 9 days to go until the $5 million race, and trainer Bill Ryan says he'll go over to Melbourne on Thursday next week. And Kim, just one more. The AFLW fixture has been released, a little more of it. North Melbourne's women's side will play the Bulldogs at North Hobart Oval on March 13, so another game for Tassie.
Good evening everyone. Temperatures above average today, with Launceston reaching 25 degrees, 24 in Devonport, and Hobart and Burnie both 22. Around the state, Friendly Beaches 25, 23 in St Helens, Low Head 21, Flinders Island 19 and 17 in Strawn. Cloudy conditions can be seen about the west of the state today, as well as wave cloud generated by the strong southwesterly winds. Further out, cloud can be seen over the south of Victoria and to the southeast of South Australia, while a cloud band lies over southern Western Australia. Tomorrow's chart shows the high in the Bight slowly moving east towards Tasmania, while troughs lie over much of the mainland. South to southwesterly winds tomorrow 20 to 30 knots, reaching 35 knots about the east. And there is a gale warning current from St Helens Point to Southeast Cape for southwesterly winds, and a strong wind warning for all remaining coastal waters and southeast inshore waters, except for Banks Strait and Franklin Sound. 16 in Hobart and Campania tomorrow, possible light showers, and 15 in Huonville. Partly cloudy and 20 in Launceston, Devonport and Georgetown, 20 degrees and sunny. 19 in Burnie tomorrow, Strawn 16, 19 and partly cloudy in Wynyard. And in the east, 19 in St Helens, Swansea 17 and windy, and 14 in Port Arthur. And the UV tomorrow remains very high across the state, with sunset expected at 7:50 p.m. Looking on to Saturday now, fine apart from light morning showers about the south and east coasts. Fine with just light winds on Sunday. And on Monday, mostly cloudy with possible showers. 25 in Perth tomorrow, Adelaide 26, cloudy and 18 in Melbourne and 31 degrees in Brisbane. And currently Hobart, partly cloudy and 16, sunny and 21 still in Launceston, and sunny and 17 in Devonport. And Kim, that's the weather tonight.
And that's all we have time for tonight. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for being with us. Good night.